Wilfried Nancy has broken his silence on his disastrous time at Celtic and made a bold claim about what he could have achieved. We've also got a major transfer update on Fares Gedgemis, news that Celtic's manager talks have been pushed back, and a big concern developing around one of the most important players in the squad. Let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Wilfried Nancy has spoken publicly for the first time since Celtic won the double, and he is not holding back. The former manager, who lasted just 33 days in charge, has come out and insisted he could have won the league title if he had been given more time. Speaking in France this week, Nancy reflected on his chaotic spell at the club, which began in December when Celtic was second in the table, only on goal difference. By the time he was gone after the home defeat to Rangers on the 3rd of January, the team had fallen behind Hearts and looked completely lost in terms of what system they were trying to play. But in his own mind, Nancy sees it differently. He was asked directly on RMC's After Foot programme whether he considers himself a Celtic champion, given that the club went on to win the title after his departure. He said, "I can see it that way, but I don't know if other people can see it that way. For me, it wasn't a failure. It would have been a failure, for example, if I had been fired after 6 months, but the idea was to put things in place. In terms of performance, it was interesting. We were third at the time. We were still in the running to be champions. So once again, it was a great experience, but I actually would have liked to have had more time because I think we would have done something good. That's why I think we could have done it." There is a grain of truth buried in there. Several Celtic players did later acknowledge the squad struggled to fully absorb his ideas without proper preparation time, and Alistair Johnston pointed out that communication barriers made things harder on the pitch, but the results were the results. Nancy won one league game during his entire spell and left the club in a worse position than he found it. Martin O'Neill came in, simplified everything, and the same group of players won a league and cup double. That tells its own story. Now for the main story, as Celtic have reignited their interest in Fares Gedgemis, the Frosinone winger they tried and failed to sign during the January transfer window, and the race to land him this summer is already heating up fast. Italian journalist Nicolo Scherer reported this week that Gedgemis has already rejected two very lucrative offers, one from a Saudi club and one from an MLS side, choosing to stay focused on moving to a stronger European league. Shearer also confirmed that Celtic remain very much in the picture, but that clubs in Germany have now started gathering information about his situation, which brings serious competition into the mix for the first time. Celtic originally walked away from negotiations in January after Frosinone, who were pushing for promotion to Serie A, refused to part with one of their key players mid-season. That caution from Frosinone turned out to be justified. They earned promotion, and Gedgemis became one of the standout performers in their run-in, which has now raised his profile and his value considerably. He is 23 years old, plays aggressively, drives directly at defenders, and carries the ball forward under pressure rather than slowing things down. Those qualities are exactly what Celtic have been missing in wide areas during the difficult stretches of last season. A 1-versus-1 attacker who can create separation consistently would change the dynamic of this team significantly. The fact that he turned down Saudi Arabia and MLS money suggests he is serious about competing at the highest level in Europe. That is a good sign for Celtic. But German clubs entering the picture changes things fast because their style suits Gedgemis naturally, and they can offer Champions League football immediately. Celtic need to move with real urgency here, or risk losing him to a rival in a matter of weeks. In other news, the search for Celtic's permanent manager has hit a slight delay after planned talks with Martin O'Neill, and other candidates were pushed back until next week. According to Herald journalist Stephen McGowan, meetings involving Dermot Desmond and the current interim boss were expected to take place over the coming days, but have now been postponed beyond the weekend. The same delay applies to conversations Celtic had arranged in London with other candidates linked to the role. That means the process remains wide open, despite O'Neill having just delivered a league and cup double. Robbie Keane and Craig Bellamy continue to feature prominently in discussions around the vacancy. Keane is available immediately after leaving Ferencváros, while Bellamy has attracted attention through the intensity and aggression he has brought to Wales. There is also an interesting structural development worth noting. Sean Maloney is expected to move into a senior football operations role overseeing the department more broadly rather than staying purely in the coaching setup. That points towards significant changes behind the scenes, which could shape the type of manager Celtic eventually appoint. Despite the delay, O'Neill remaining central to the conversation says plenty about where the board's thinking is. If they had already decided to move in another direction, direct discussions with Desmond would not still be pending at this stage. Celtic are clearly still weighing whether the man who saved their season deserves to continue into Champions League qualifiers and another major summer rebuild. In other news, Celtic have held talks with Bournemouth over the future of Julian Araujo as the club explores ways to keep the defender in Glasgow heading into next season. According to the Daily Record, Celtic looked at both another loan deal and the possibility of a permanent move after Araujo's short but impressive spell at Parkhead earlier this season. The Mexican international had his loan cut short by injury in April, but left a very positive impression before that setback. The impact he made was clear. Celtic have struggled for pace and directness from their full-back positions at various points last season, and Araujo brought a completely different energy on the right side. He attacked space aggressively, pressed high up the pitch, and recovered ground quickly. That approach suited the way O'Neill wanted Celtic to play in the title run-in, and supporters responded to the directness he added to the side. The challenge now is navigating a complicated situation. Araujo remains under contract at Bournemouth, who have their own decisions to make about his future after the World Cup. His profile has risen significantly following his return to the Mexico national team squad, and interest from clubs in Liga MX, including Monterrey, is also understood to be growing. For Celtic, the timing is difficult. They have never seen a long enough run of consecutive matches from Araujo to judge him fully. Just as he started settling, the injury stalled everything. If they do manage to bring him back, Champions League football and regular game time alongside Alistair Johnston will be the key selling points. The next few weeks may decide whether this move happens or slips away entirely. Lastly, a story that will make Celtic fans very nervous this morning, as Dyson Maeda has refused to rule out leaving the club this summer, dropping his biggest hint yet that a move away could be on the cards. Maeda has been at Celtic since 2022 and has been one of the most important players in the squad during that time. His pressing, his relentless running, and his ability to completely destabilise defences in transition have made him almost irreplaceable when he is at his best. He was absolutely crucial during the title run-in after a slow start to the season personally, and his performances in the big games were a major reason Celtic got over the line. But speaking ahead of the World Cup with Japan, Maeda gave answers that will raise eyebrows. He said, "I wasn't in great form at the beginning of the season, but I've been getting into better shape towards the end. I think I can maintain this momentum and get a good result at the World Cup." That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one.